Hello students, I hope you are well at your home. Stay at home till further instructions issued by the government. Now today we are going to discuss few new topics with respect to chapter number 1 solution. It is osmosis, reverse osmosis and a very important Henry's law. I am starting with osmosis. Now osmosis you already studied in lower classes. Osmosis means it is movement of solvent particles from its high concentration to its low concentration through semi-permeable membrane. So the definition you already used in lower classes. Look at here one of the example to explain what is osmosis. This is a container. It is separated in two segments through this semi-permeable membrane. I hope you remember semi-permeable membrane is used for selective transportation. It allows only solvent particles to move from one side to other side, but do not allow movement of solute particles. So here we have dilute aqueous solution and here we have concentrated aqueous solution. Now if it is dilute solution means the amount of water or solvent will be in high concentration here but amount of solvent in low concentration here. Therefore, water, it means solvent, move from its high concentration to its low concentration through this semi-permeable membrane in this direction, and this movement is known as osmosis. Remember, osmosis is not a colligative property, it is a normal phenomena. So movement of solvent from its high concentration to its low concentration through semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. For more clarification, remember some differences between osmosis and diffusion. In diffusion also particles move, but in diffusion both solute as well as solvent particles can move. Secondly, diffusion do not require any semi-permeable membrane which osmosis required. So movement in this direction, this movement is known as osmosis. Now if we wish to stop this movement, we will increase pressure on this piston. So gradually increase pressure on the piston. Like this, earlier the piston is at here at this position. We increase the pressure and now suppose the position of piston is here. Because we increase pressure this side, the movement of water will start slow and ultimately the movement of water will get stopped. As soon as the movement gets stopped, note down the pressure applicable here. The pressure required to stop the movement of solvent particles during osmosis is also known as osmotic pressure, and this is an example of colligative property. I repeat, the pressure required to stop the movement of solvent particles during osmosis is known as osmotic pressure. Remember one more point, colligative properties are properties of dilute solution. So this is also a phenomena of dilute solution. In dilute solution, concentration of solute is negligible, just like concentration of a particular gas in air. And therefore, we can use here this equation PV equal to nRT. You have used this equation earlier in class 11 for gases. Now we are using same equation here for solution. Reason I told you, colligative properties are properties of dilute solution. So here we can use the same equation PV equal to nRT. Just to make a difference, P here denoted by pi. There is no difference mathematically between P and pi, but pi is used to represent osmotic pressure. So PV equal to nRT can be written as pi V equal to nRT, or we can write pi equals to n divided by VRT. Now n upon V, moles divided by volume, is known as molarity or concentration. So the same equation can be written here as pi equal to mRT. M stands for molarity, and the molarity can also written as C for concentration. So pi equal to mRT or pi equal to CRT both has same meaning. C is for concentration, but you cannot use any possible concentration here. You need to use only molarity to solve numericals related to osmotic pressure. Now R is constant, T is temperature in Kelvin. The value of R is 0.0821 if we are using osmotic pressure in atmosphere unit. So this is all about for osmosis. I repeat, it is movement of solvent particles from dilute solution to concentrate solution. Movement of solvent particle from its high concentration to its low concentration is known as osmosis. The pressure required to stop movement is known as osmotic pressure, denoted by pi, and pi equal to CRT, where C is concentration or molarity of solution. Now in application of osmosis, this is in fact reverse osmosis. Here we have discussed if you implement pressure up to here, the movement of water particle will get stopped. But if you increase much more pressure, here you can see the condition, the external pressure which we implement here is greater than osmotic pressure. If external pressure is greater than osmotic pressure, then movement of water particles start in reverse direction like this diagram. This is pure water and this is saline water. Definitely concentration of water is more here. In normal condition, water move from this side to this side. But here, because external pressure is greater than osmotic pressure, the movement of water start from a low concentration of water to high concentration of water. It means from saline water to pure water, and this particular is known as reverse osmosis. The condition for reverse osmosis is external pressure must be greater than osmotic pressure. Now this technique is used for several years to purify the salty water or saline water. You have heard the RO. RO is stands for reverse osmosis. So you may ask few questions here. Given application of reverse osmosis, you can write desalination of water. Desalination is based on principle of reverse osmosis, and condition for reverse osmosis, external pressure should be greater than osmotic pressure. Now few more terms used in osmosis and osmotic pressure: isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, and hypotonic solution. Isotonic solution means if two solutions have same osmotic pressure, then they are considered as isotonic solution. In case a solution with high osmotic pressure, then it is known as hypertonic. If a solution with low osmotic pressure, then it is known as hypotonic solution. So these are simple terms. You may ask one more question: what do you mean by isotonic? Same osmotic pressure of two solutions. This is for higher osmotic pressure, and this is for lower osmotic pressure. Now in lower classes you did some questions with respect to osmosis, like if we kept resin sometimes in water, why resin swells up? And the answer is endosmosis, or simply here osmosis, because resin consists a high concentration of sugar in it, so water enter in the resin due to osmosis, and that's why resin swells up. Here some new questions for you, because now you are in 11th 12th standard, so you will ask some better questions here. The question will be, why the solution of injection which is given as medicine must have same osmotic pressure as the osmotic pressure of blood? Or if I simplify this question, why the solution of injection must be isotonic to blood? The answer is explained here through these two examples. These are, suppose, our RBC, red blood corpuscles. These are RBCs. If the solution of injection is hypotonic, hypotonic means its osmotic pressure is less, and osmotic pressure is less means the concentration of solute is less, or the concentration of solvent, it means water in high concentration. In such condition, if water is high in concentration outside, then water will move inside to RBC. In this condition, RBC will swell up, and if RBC swell up, it will not transport in our circulatory system easily, and therefore it will be medically it will be a highly dangerous condition for us medically. Other situation, if the solution is concentrated solution, it means its osmotic pressure is more than RBC. It is hypertonic solution. Hypertonic means osmotic pressure is more, concentration of solute is more, it means water outside is less as compared to inside. In this condition, water will move outside this RBC. RBC will shrink, and because RBC shrink, it will not able to carry oxygen significantly. So both these conditions are dangerous for us. The first is RBC will swell up. In second condition, RBC will shrink. Therefore, the solution of injection cannot be hypotonic as well as it cannot be a hypotonic solution. Both are highly dangerous for us. It should be isotonic to us so that RBC do not change its size in the circulatory system. Now the second last topic of this chapter, it is solubility of gas in liquid. There are two factors which can affect solubility of gas in liquid. First, it is effect of temperature. I hope you have observed in day-to-day life when you boil the water uh, and after you cool down and test it, it look like tasteless water. The reason is when we increase the temperature of water, solubility of gas decrease in the water. In fact, it decrease in any possible liquid. So first is effect of temperature. This give us an idea that solubility of gas decrease on increasing temperature. Now, why it is so? You can explain this on the basis of Le Chatelier principle. You have to remember that most of the gases dissolve in water in an exothermic reaction, and because it is exothermic reaction, the reaction is facilitated with decreasing temperature. So when we decrease temperature, the solubility of gases will definitely increase as per Le Chatelier principle. Solubility of gas in water is example of exothermic reaction, and therefore it facilitated at low temperature. Now you can have one question here: why why the species in cold water are easily survivable? And the answer you will write because of low temperature, their dissolved oxygen is more, and therefore the aquatic animal can easily use this oxygen in their breathing, and therefore they will easily survive in cold water rather than in hot water. Now, second and more important factor, it is effect of pressure. Effect of pressure is explained by scientist Henry, and this is known as Henry's law. Again, you have seen in your day-to-day life example, when you open a cold drink, you can see bubbles come out from the cold drink. Why it is so? The reason is cold drinks are sealed or packed at very high pressure to increase solubility of carbon dioxide gas in the liquid, in the soft drink. So according to Henry's law, the solubility of gas is directly proportional to partial pressure of gas over that particular liquid. If we increase partial pressure of gas, then the solubility also increase. As per Henry's law, partial pressure is directly proportional to solubility, or partial pressure is equals to Kh into Xg, where Kh is Henry's law constant. I repeat, P is partial pressure of gas, this is Henry's law constant, and this is solubility of gas in liquid, which is given by Xg, mole fraction of gas. Now this is a very small formula, and you can have a numerical up to 3 marks on the basis of this formula. To solve the numericals with respect to Henry's law, it looks like very short formula, but the numerical will be complicated. To solve the numericals with respect to Henry's law, you need to remember these 5 checkpoints. I am explaining one by one all the 5 points. First is Xg is mole fraction, and you know mole fraction is a unitless quantity. Because it is a unitless quantity, the unit of partial pressure and Henry's law constant must be same. So this is the first point, first checkpoint here. Unit of pressure and Kh must be same. You know the unit of pressures are it may be atmosphere, bar, Pascal, mm of Hg or torr. So you need to remember the relation between atmosphere, bar, Pascal, torr and mm of Hg, and you need to equalize the unit of both partial pressure as well as Henry's law constant. Second point, solubility of gas. Sometimes you are given solubility of gas in a liquid is 0.02, and in another question you are given solubility of gas is 0.02 m. The first question is easier for you because it is a unitless quantity. You can directly put this quantity here in this formula. But here you are given small m, molality. You need to convert this molality into mole fraction before you use this number in the calculation. So I repeat, solubility of gas must be a unitless quantity because Xg is a unitless quantity. If it is not unitless quantity like here, then you need to convert molality into mole fraction. Next point, if you need to calculate amount of gas, in most of the question you will ask calculate carbon dioxide in 500 milliliter of water. So if you need to calculate amount of gas, it means you are not supposed to calculate mole fraction. Instead of this, you need to calculate either its moles or it is mass. Remember, mole or mass should be a quantity. Mole fraction cannot be amount. It is concentration, but it is not an amount. So here you need to calculate either mass or mole of gas. Here I also wish to tell you that if you are given calculate amount of carbon dioxide in 500 milliliter soda water, 500 milliliter soda water. Now this 500 milliliter soda water means it is a solution of carbon dioxide in water. You can read this as 500 milliliter water, because the amount of gas is always negligible as compared to amount of liquid. So 500 milliliter soda water can be read as 500 milliliter water, and 500 milliliter water can convert into gram by multiplying 1, as we know that density of water is almost 1 at normal condition. So 500 milliliter soda water equals to 500 milliliter water, and it is equals to 500 gram of water. This help you to put the value of moles of water when you will do numericals with respect to Henry's law. So this is the third point. If you need to calculate amount of gas, then calculate mass or moles. Fourth point, you can neglect moles of gas while calculating Xg. Now Xg can be written as it is equals to Kh into moles of gas divided by moles of gas plus moles of solvent. In most of the questions, solvent will be water. Now you can neglect this quantity because it is once again solute, which is always negligible as compared to solvent, and especially when you are doing numericals with respect to gases, it is definitely negligible as compared to solvent. So neglect this quantity, otherwise it will be difficult for you in numerical. So you can neglect moles of gas while calculating mole fraction of gas. And last but not least, this is partial pressure of gas. Sometimes in place of partial pressure of gas, you may given total pressure of air, and from total pressure of air you need to first calculate partial pressure of that particular gas for which you are doing numerical. So here you can use the formula which is given by Dalton's. It is Dalton's law of partial pressure. Partial pressure is equals to total pressure multiplied by mole fraction of gas. I repeat, you need to use Dalton's law when you need to calculate partial pressure if you are given total pressure of air. So partial pressure equal to total pressure into mole fraction of gas. Now one more point here, very important point. This is Xg and this is also Xg. This is mole fraction of gas, this is also mole fraction of gas, but they are not identical. They have a huge difference. This is mole fraction of gas in solution, which is also known as solubility, but this is mole fraction of gas in air. So this formula we need to use to calculate partial pressure of gas, so that we can put here. Now while calculating mole fraction of gas in air, generally we use formula mole fraction equals to moles divided by total moles. But for air, you can also use this formula, mole fraction of gas in air is equals to volume of gas divided by volume of air. For example, if a question says oxygen is 20% by volume in air, what is mole fraction of oxygen? We can directly calculate mole fraction of oxygen will equals to volume of oxygen upon volume of air. 20% means it is 20 divided by 100. So mole fraction of oxygen in air is 0.2. So these are few points, few checklists. Though the formula is very very small, but you will see you will have some problems, real problems, while you will do numericals with respect to Henry's law. But if you follow these 5-6 points, then it will be easier for you to solve the numericals with respect to Henry's law. The last point for Henry's law, it is applications of Henry's law. 2-3 applications you have to remember. First, I told you earlier that cold drinks or soft drinks are sealed at high pressure to increase solubility of gas in soda water. Second example, a good example, this you can ask in your exam also. At high altitudes, at mountain, the pressure is decreased, pressure of air decrease, therefore partial pressure of oxygen also decrease. Because partial pressure decrease, solubility of oxygen in blood decrease. In low concentration of oxygen, our brain get less amount of oxygen and our decision making power decrease. This particular problem medically is known as anoxia. So you can ask what is anoxia? At high altitude, oxygen decrease, oxygen in blood decrease, oxygen in brain also decrease, decision making power decrease, and medically this is known as anoxia. The last application which you have to remember, it is related to scuba divers. Scuba divers means it is deep sea swimmers. Now you have seen that they carry gas cylinder, but this gas cylinder doesn't have pure oxygen. The oxygen is diluted with helium, neon, and certain other gases to decrease partial pressure of oxygen. Otherwise, when deep swimmers go deep in sea, due to high pressure of sea, solubility of oxygen increase and we have a high concentration of oxygen in our blood. So far there is no problem, but once the swimmers come at the surface, the pressure decrease, therefore solubility of oxygen decrease, oxygen quickly leave our arteries and vein, and this create bubbles in our arteries and vein. This bubble cause a huge pain, and medically this problem is known as bend. So this anoxia and bend, this may cause due to high pressure and low pressure in atmosphere, and this is related to Henry's law. So go through this, go through the notes, do the numericals, and share your problem in case you find any problems. Thanks for watching this video. I ask you to subscribe this and like the video so that most of the students can take benefit of this video. Thanks, and we will have a last class of solution in next week. It is related to Van Hoff factor. Till that, goodbye.